You ever look up at the night sky and just wonder, are we alone out here? It's a question we've been asking forever. But maybe, just maybe, the real question isn't if we'll make contact, but what happens when we do. So let's dive into the fascinating and kind of terrifying possibilities.
The legendary sci-fi author Arthur C. Clarke he nailed it with this one. I mean, think about it. If we're all that's out there, we are this tiny, lonely flicker of consciousness in an impossibly huge and silent place. But if we're not alone, well, that's when things get really, really interesting.
And that feeling, that idea brings us right to the heart of this whole mystery. There is this profound, almost eerie silence out there when there should be noise. It's a massive contradiction that scientists call the Fermi paradox, and that's what we're going to unpack.
Okay, just try to wrap your head around these numbers for a second because they are staggering. We think there are something like 2 trillion galaxies in the observable universe. Our own galaxy, the Milky Way, has hundreds of billions of stars, and just in our galactic neighborhood, there could be as many as 300 million planets that are potentially habitable. The universe should be absolutely buzzing with life.
Which leads us to this super simple but incredibly deep question. It was first asked by the physicist Enrico Fermi, supposedly just over a casual lunch back in 1950. With all those stars and all those planets, all those chances for life, where's everybody? Why is it so quiet out there? That right there is the Fermi paradox.
So, okay, let's imagine for a minute that the silence finally breaks. What would that even look like? You can forget all the Hollywood movies with giant ships over every city. The reality of first contact would probably be a lot weirder and way, way more profound.
You know, the most likely first contact probably won't be little green men. It'll probably be finding some alien microbes, basically slime on a place like Mars or one of Jupiter's moons. Scientifically, that's a total game changer. It proves life isn't some miracle unique to Earth. But for you and me, our daily lives, they probably wouldn't change a bit. But scenario 2, receiving an intelligent signal from the stars, that would change absolutely everything, overnight.
The moment that signal is confirmed, it would trigger something experts call ontological shock. It's a fancy term for the crisis that happens when your entire understanding of reality just gets shattered. Every religion, every philosophy, our whole sense of being special and unique in the universe, it would all be thrown into question instantly.
And the political fallout? Wow, that would be immense. I mean, best case scenario, we all come together, we stop being American or Russian or Chinese, and we become Earthlings, right? Our little squabbles seem pretty petty in the face of the cosmos. But the worst case scenario? A frantic global scramble to monopolize that alien contact, to get their technology, sparking a new kind of world war.
But what if it's more than just a message? What if they actually arrive? Because if they can get here, the power difference between us and them will be almost impossible to even comprehend.
The late, great Stephen Hawking put out a really stark warning about this. He compared it to when Columbus first met the Native Americans, and he said that didn't turn out so well for the Native Americans. It's a chilling analogy because history shows us over and over that when a more advanced civilization meets a less advanced one, it almost never ends well for the little guy.
And let's be clear about just how big that gap could be. The universe is almost 14 billion years old. We humans have only had radio technology for a little over a century. We're not even toddlers on the cosmic scale. We're newborns. Any civilization capable of traveling between the stars would likely be millions, if not billions of years older than us. Their technology would seem like magic. To really try and quantify this power gap, scientists use a theoretical measuring stick called the Kardashev scale. It basically ranks civilizations by how much energy they can use. And us? Right now, humanity is rated as a type 0.7. We haven't even figured out how to harness all the energy available on our own planet yet.
So a Type 1 civilization has total control over its planet. We're talking weather, earthquakes, the whole shebang. A Type 2 controls the entire energy output of its star, maybe with something like a Dyson sphere. And a Type 3, well, a Type 3 civilization commands the energy of its entire galaxy. The power difference between us and a Type 3 would be like the difference between you and an ant. You don't necessarily hate the ant, but if its anthill is in the way of the intergalactic highway you're building, you're not going to hesitate.
So that begs the question, where are all the Type 3 civilizations? Why don't we see galaxies getting re-engineered for energy? This leads us to a really unsettling idea, a potential explanation for the silence called the Great Filter.
So the idea of the Great Filter is that there's some kind of wall, or a challenge, that's so incredibly difficult to get past that almost no form of life ever does. It's a barrier that wipes out civilizations before they can ever become those galaxy-hopping superbeings. And according to this theory, that filter is why the universe seems so empty.
So what could this filter be? Well, it might be something external, like a massive asteroid impact. Or, and this is the scary part, it could be something that every civilization brings upon itself, a test they face and fail. Things like nuclear war, runaway AI, or total environmental collapse. The list of potential filters looks disturbingly familiar, doesn't it?
This all leads to a really profound question for us, for humanity. Is the Great Filter in our past? Was the ridiculously improbable jump from single-celled goo to complex, intelligent life the really, really hard part that we somehow managed to survive? If it is, then the path to the stars might just be clear for us.
But the alternative is absolutely terrifying. What if the Great Filter is still waiting for us? What if every technological breakthrough we make is just moving us one step closer to our own extinction? That would mean the cosmic silence we hear is the silence of a graveyard.
And that thought, that chilling thought, leads us to our final explanation for the Fermi paradox. And honestly, it might be the most frightening of them all. It's a concept that came out of science fiction, but it's one that a lot of scientists find disturbingly plausible. It's called the dark forest.
Okay, so picture this. The universe isn't a vast, empty space waiting to be explored. Instead, it's a pitch-black forest at night, and it's filled with silent hunters, all hiding from each other. Every hunter knows that making any sound, revealing your location in any way, could attract a predator that's bigger, faster, and way more dangerous. So what's the #1 rule for survival in a dark forest? You stay absolutely silent.
So if the universe is a dark forest, what has humanity been doing for the last 100 years or so? We've basically been building a giant bonfire in the middle of a clearing, setting off fireworks and screaming at the top of our lungs with all of our radio signals, our TV broadcasts, our radar. We have been loudly and naively announcing our exact location to a forest that has learned the deadly value of silence.
The whole theory boils down to this. The reason the universe is so quiet isn't because there's no one out there. It's quiet because everyone is terrified.
And that changes everything, doesn't it? It makes you think that maybe, just maybe, we've been asking the wrong question this whole time. Instead of looking up at the stars and asking, where is everybody? Maybe the question we should have been asking ourselves is, should we be silent too?